Hello, are you ready to order?
I am. Are you?
Yes, I think so. What is the soup of the day, please? It's spicy carrot soup. No, I don't want that. I'll start with the mushrooms, please. And after that, can I have the chicken? Sure. And would you like potatoes, chips, or rice with your chicken? I'll have rice, please. Potatoes and chips are too heavy. Fine. And you, sir?
I'd like the tomato and bean salad to start, please.
Sure. And for your main course?
The bacon burger, please. Can I have it without cheese?
No cheese, sure. And what would you like to drink? A beer for me, please.
Really? You usually have wine.
That's true, but I don't want that today.
I'll have a beer too. And could we have some water too?
Sure. I'll bring your drinks in a moment. How was your meal? Delicious, thank you. Would you like dessert? The menu is on the wall over there. Yes, I'd love one, but, I can't decide. The white chocolate cake or the orange cheesecake?
Well, I know what I want. Apple pie.
Sure, with cream or ice cream?
Ice cream, please.
No problem. And have you decided? Well, I had orange cheesecake last time I was here, so I'll have the white chocolate cake this time. Great. I'll bring them for you soon.
I live in the city center. My office is very near my flat, so I walk to work. It only takes 5 minutes. I can walk to the shops, too. But there isn't a supermarket in the city center, so I take the subway there. It's very convenient. I never use the bus. It's a little cheaper, but it's so slow. When I travel to other towns and cities, I use the train. I don't have a car and I don't like buses and coaches.
I live in a town about 15 miles from city. My work is about 10 miles from my home. I go to work on my scooter. It's cheap and easy to park, but it's sometimes cold and wet, and that's not nice. I use my scooter to go to the shops in the supermarket and to visit friends. But for a night out, I take the train. Then I can enjoy some drinks. I never drink and ride. I don't have a car, but when I travel to other parts of the country, I often hire one.
My college is about 2 miles from my house, so I go there by bike. I cycle to bars too, and I use my bike when I visit friends. But when I go to the supermarket, I take the bus. Then I don't have to carry lots of heavy bags a long way. When I visit friends in other towns and cities, I take the bus or a coach. It's slow, but it's really cheap, and I don't have much money. I never drive a car. I can't drive. And I never take taxis. They are too expensive for me.
Are these the photos of your brother's wedding, Danny?
Yes, please, take a look.
Oh, look, here's your brother, Jack. He looks very smart in that grey suit.
Yes, the grey suit and the black tie look great, but I don't like his pink shirt.
I like that. And he's wearing pink shoes too.
Yes, those pink shoes are terrible.
I love them. Is there a photo of your mum?
Yes, there she is. She's wearing a big blue hat with flowers in it.
What a great hat! I like her purple dress too.
That dress is very expensive.
She's wearing purple shoes too. And she has a beautiful scarf.
Yes, she loves that yellow scarf. Look, that's my cousin's son, Eric.
Sorry, which one is Eric?
The boy in the red sweater and green shirt.
Oh, I see him. And he's wearing jeans. You can't wear jeans at a wedding.
Why not?
They aren't very smart. And look, he isn't wearing shoes. He's wearing trainers.
I think he looks smart. His jeans and trainers are clean and new.
Maybe.
Well, look at my Aunt Rose.
Which one is your Aunt Rose?
Here, she's wearing an orange blouse and a long pink skirt.
She looks great. And she's wearing red gloves too.
Yes, she loves colours. And look at what she's wearing on her feet.
Oh, she's wearing long purple boots. She looks wonderful.
Wonderful? I think she looks strange.
Who is this little boy?
That's Ben. He's a friend's son. He's only 5 years old.
He's cute. I love the blue shorts he is wearing. And the white shirt.
Yes, he looks cute. Look, here's another photo of him. He's wearing a green coat and a little blue cap.
Oh, he's very sweet. I've got a house near the city centre now. 5 people live there. There's me, of course, and there's Sarah. She's in her 20s, like me. She's slim, and she's got long blonde hair. She's very friendly, but she is noisy. She talks loudly, and she loves listening to loud music. Then there's Robert. He's a student. He's in his teens. He is very good looking. He's got brown eyes and short brown curly hair. But he's very quiet and a little boring. Then there's Jason. He's in his 40s. He's really tall. He's fat and he's bald. He looks a little scary, but he isn't. Actually, he is really kind. And he is funny too. Last, there's Charlotte. She's about 30. She's very thin and she's got long, straight, dark hair. She's clever and interesting, but she is very tidy and a little unfriendly with us because we aren't tidy. She is a little scary sometimes, but I am happy with my housemates.
What do you do in your free time, Ella?
I love cooking.
Great. What sort of food do you cook?
International food, like Indian, Chinese, Japanese, Italian.
That's interesting. How do you learn?
I get books from the library, and I watch programs on television. And last year, I did a Japanese cooking course at the college. And of course, I study food technology at school.
Great. Tell me more about your Japanese cooking course.
Well, the classes were every Monday from 7 o'clock until 9:30. It lasted 8 weeks. At the end, we had a big party. We cooked lots of Japanese food and invited all our family and friends.
It sounds great. I'm doing a course at the college too at the moment.
Are you? What?
Music technology. I'm learning how to record music and set up microphones at concerts.
That sounds interesting. Do you play an instrument?
Well, I played the violin when I was young. I was quite good, but I don't like classical music. I like rock music. You don't usually hear violins in rock music. I tried to learn the guitar, but I was terrible at it. I tried the drums too. I was quite good at that. But my parents didn't want me to play them. They said they're too noisy. So I decided to learn music technology. Then I can enjoy rock music without playing it.
Good idea. Do you go to many concerts?
Oh yes, I love them. I went to 6 last year. And this year, I already have tickets for 4 concerts. I'm going to 2 this month. I'd like to see more, but they are expensive.
Yes, they are. Well, I have to go now. Have a great time at your concerts.
Thanks. Bye.
My name is Sarah and I'm from Sweden. I like teaching because I really love it when my students don't start out speaking really good English, but then after a while when I teach them more stuff, I really like it to see them start to speak. They get more brave and it's really nice. I think the best way to study English is through reading. I read a lot when I was younger, and some people say they don't like to read, but it's my favorite thing, and you learn a lot of words that way. It would be someone who really wants to learn English. I think a lot of people think that through their job or their boss, they just have to learn it, but they're not really that motivated. So I would definitely say someone who enjoys the language, maybe they even like British, American culture. That kind of person is my ideal student. The worst student, that's hard to say. I haven't had a lot of bad students so far. But maybe someone who's really uninspired, when you can feel that they don't want to be there, they don't really want to learn English, someone else forced them to learn English. You don't really want to teach someone like that. Yeah, I do. I think it's really nice because I love languages. So teaching English is some of the things I like the most. I speak, on native level, I speak English, Swedish, Norwegian, and I'm also intermediate in Korean, Japanese, and French. I'd classify myself as a native English speaker, but technically I was born in Sweden. I learned English through reading. That's why I said I think it's the best way to learn. I read all the time. And I love English. I would learn difficult words. I read Bram Stoker's Dracula, for example, when I was really young. And when I didn't understand something, I'd look up the words. So that's how I learned the most. And I spoke to a lot of British and American friends, so I practiced that a lot. I actually prefer British, but I tend to use a more Americanized kind of English, because it's easier for me to use for some reason. But British sounds the best, I think. Yeah, hello, my name's Sarah. I'm from Sweden. How are you? My hobbies are video games, reading, learning languages, acting, dancing, music. I love singing as well. I've been to all the countries around Scandinavia and the Nordic countries. I've also been to Turkey, Greece, France, America, and the UK. And now also Korea, Japan, and Hong Kong.
Do you have any questions for her?
How old are you?
Oh.
Okay, look at the camera, look at me.
Oh.
How old do you think she is?
18.
25.
Oh my gosh.
17.
He's working. All right, look at me. Many people want to know, how old are you?
I'm 25 years old.
Yeah.
Would you like to play tennis on Saturday, John?
I'm a little busy on Saturday. What time?
In the morning. How about 10 o'clock?
Sorry, I'm not free in the morning. How about the afternoon, at about 4 o'clock?
Sorry, I'm afraid I can't play then.
That's a shame. Maybe another time.
Yes, sure.
Paula, we're going to a restaurant on Friday. Would you like to come with us?
Where are you going, Alex?
To the Italian restaurant on the high street.
I like that place. What time are you going there? After work? At 5:30?
No, that's too early to eat. We're going home first, and we're meeting at 7 o'clock.
That's not good for me. I don't live near work.
Well, do you want to come to my house after work? We can have a drink there.
Thanks, Alex. That sounds good.
Jeff, do you want to see Romeo and Juliet at the theatre next week?
Okay, I know you love that play.
Thanks, Jeff. Which day is best for you? Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday?
What time does it start?
7:30.
I can't go on Tuesday. I have to stay late that day. And I have football on Thursday.
Wednesday then?
Yes, that's fine.
Great.
A country band is playing at the Groove next week. Shall we go?
Which band is playing?
Sheep and Cows.
Oh, they are good. When are they playing?
They're playing on 2 nights, Thursday and Friday.
I can't go on Thursday. I have yoga, but I'm free on Friday.
Friday is good for me too.
What time do they start?
9 o'clock, but we can meet for drinks first.
Yes, let's do that. But let's not meet at the Groove. Let's go to the bar in the park.
Good idea. Shall we meet there at 8?
Yes, that'd be great.
I work at a hospital. I'm not a doctor or a nurse. I'm a technician. I look after the computers. Everyone uses them in the hospital. Nurses, doctors, receptionists, too. It's important that they all work properly, so that's my job. I start work at 8:30 in the morning. When I arrive, I find out if there are any problems. Sometimes problems happen in the night. The workers always go home at 9 o'clock in the morning, so I have half an hour to talk to them about any problems before they go home. I finish work at 5 o'clock, but usually I'm too busy to go home then. I can't leave when I am halfway through a job. Usually, I don't leave work until 5:30. Then, the roads are really busy, and it takes me 1 hour to get home, so I get home at 6:30. Lots of people at the hospital cycle to work because parking a car is expensive there. I tried cycling to work, but I didn't like it. I get too tired, and I hate cycling in bad weather. So I take the bus. That way, I can relax and read emails or listen to music on the way. My job isn't difficult. I can fix most problems easily, but it's not boring. Every day is different, and I have lots of colleagues, and I like talking to them. We often go out together after work. The biggest problem is my office. It's really small, and 3 other people use it too. I'd like a bigger place, but it's not possible. But I don't complain much. It's a nice job, and the pay is good, so I am lucky.
My husband and I moved to the Scilly Isles 6 years ago. We were on holiday on the biggest island here, St Mary's. We loved it. It was safe and quiet, and the beaches were beautiful with soft sand and clear sea. I didn't want to go home. One day we were on a trip to another island, called Bryar. There we saw a pub for sale. I said to my husband, "Why don't we buy that pub and live here?" He said yes. We didn't actually buy the pub. Someone else bought it first, but we still moved here. Now we live on an island called Tresco. There is a famous garden here. It's really beautiful. I work there now as a gardener. My husband works at a hotel. Tresco is the second biggest island in the Scilly Isles, but it's less than 3 square kilometres. St Mary's, the biggest island, is 6.5 square kilometres. Over 1,500 people live on St Mary's, but about 200 live on Tresco. Less than 100 live on Bryar. I think I'd feel lonely there. Most islands have primary schools, but Bryar doesn't. That's another good reason for choosing Tresco, because my son, who is 6, can go to school here. But there isn't a secondary school on Tresco, so when he is older, he will have to go to St Mary's. He will sleep there and come home at weekends. Most island kids enjoy that. Lots of tourists visit the islands in summer. I love listening to them, especially when it's their first time here. They are always surprised because the islands are so lovely. Most tourists are polite, friendly, and tidy. We never have problems with noise. You should come here. I think you'll love it.
I live with my mum, my brother, and my mum's partner, Dave. My mum and dad aren't married now. My dad lives about 10 miles away with his new wife, Helen. They have a new baby, Jenny. She's my half-sister. My brother? Well, his name is Richard. He's 21 now. He's 2 years younger than me. He's clever, but he's a little lazy. He finished school last year. He got really good grades. My parents and all his teachers wanted him to go to university, but he didn't want to. He wanted to make videos and put them on the internet. But he doesn't work very hard, and his videos aren't popular, so he doesn't make any money. Probably my cousin, George. He's my dad's brother's son. We're almost the same age. He's only 1 month younger than me. When we were young, our families spent a lot of time together. Now, I don't live with my dad, so I don't see George or his family often, but we chat a lot online. Good question. We're actually very different. He's quieter and more serious than me. He hates sports and prefers reading and learning about history. I prefer science, and I'm much more active than him. I suppose we like to make jokes about each other. We laugh about how we are different, and, of course, we know each other well. So if we are having a bad time, we can talk about our problems.
I live in a flat in Bournemouth. It's in a modern building, about 3 miles from the city centre. The old buildings look nicer, I think, but my friend lives in an old building and it's very cold. My flat isn't. My only problem is the birds. They make my balcony dirty. I hate them. My friend's flat is noisier than mine too. It's next to a busy road and it's on the ground floor. Strangers often look through her windows. My flat is on the 4th floor, so I never have that problem. I can see the sea from my balcony too. I love that. There's a shop 3 minutes walk away. It sells groceries, but it doesn't sell fresh bread, unfortunately. When you enter my flat, there's a long hallway in front of you. There's a toilet on the left and a useful space on the right. I keep shoes and coats here, and it's also big enough for my bike. Next on the right is the living room. It's big and light and has a balcony and sea view. I love this room, so I always keep it tidy. It has a lovely blue sofa. It was expensive, but it's so comfortable. I love it. The kitchen is opposite the living room. It's small and has a view of a hill, so that's nice too. Next to the kitchen is the bathroom. It has a shower over the bath and a wash basin, but no toilet. My bedroom is at the end of the hallway. That's a big room too, but there are lots of things in this room. My clothes, books, guitar, desk and computer. It's never tidy.
Well, I plan to go to Egypt. Usually, I just go on holiday in Britain, but last year, I decided to do something special. I saved money for a long time, and finally, I had enough money. I was really excited when I booked the trip. Well, I hoped to go with a friend. I didn't want to travel alone. I asked lots of people to come with me, but they didn't have enough money, or they wanted to go somewhere else. So I went on my own. I didn't have enough money for a nice hotel, so I stayed in guest houses. Actually, I think the guest houses were nicer than the hotels. They were comfortable and they were in interesting parts of the city. The owners were very kind. They gave me information about places to visit and helped me get around. Well, the owners at the guest house told me to get food from the market. They said the local dishes there are delicious. But my guidebook said that local food can make you sick, and I was worried about that. I didn't want to get sick on holiday. So on the first night, I ate in a European restaurant. I thought it was safer than the market, but I got sick anyway. No, luckily, just for a day. I just stayed in bed and drank water and ate a little rice. I felt better the day after. Well, the historic sites were wonderful, of course, but they were very busy. Actually, I preferred taking boat trips on the River Nile. It was peaceful there, and the sunsets were great. I bought clothes online a few times in the past, but it was usually a bad experience. Sometimes the clothes didn't fit. Sometimes the color was different from in the picture, and I didn't like it. Or the style didn't look good on me. Then I had to return the clothes, and that wasn't convenient. So these days, I always buy clothes in town, but not at the mall. There aren't many good clothes shops there now. But there's a great market near the river. The clothes are really colorful there, and they're cheap too. The problem is there aren't any fitting rooms. I have to find a dark corner of the stall and try clothes on there. It's not great, but I find some great clothes.
I never buy clothes online. To me, it seems silly to buy something when you can't try it on, or touch it, or see the quality. My friend saw an advert for a suit online and bought it to wear at a wedding. He thought he was going to get a bargain, but when it arrived, it was terrible quality. He had to buy another suit, and he had to pay to return the other one. What a waste of time and money. I buy all my clothes at the mall. There are a lot of clothes shops, but only a few of them sell good quality clothes. I buy my clothes in those shops. I pay a lot for them. They last a long time, and they look smart. I don't like shopping, so I don't mind spending more money. Then I don't have to go shopping often. I don't shop at the market. The clothes there are poor quality, and the colors are really bright. I think they look cheap. I prefer to look smart.
I bought clothes online a few times in the past, but it was usually a bad experience. Sometimes the clothes didn't fit. Sometimes the color was different from in the picture, and I didn't like it. Or the style didn't look good on me. Then I had to return the clothes, and that wasn't convenient. So these days, I always buy clothes in town, but not at the mall. There aren't many good clothes shops there now. But there's a great market near the river. The clothes are really colorful there, and they're cheap too. The problem is there aren't any fitting rooms. I have to find a dark corner of the stall and try clothes on there. It's not great, but I find some great clothes.
I never buy clothes online. To me, it seems silly to buy something when you can't try it on, or touch it, or see the quality. My friend saw an advert for a suit online and bought it to wear at a wedding. He thought he was going to get a bargain, but when it arrived, it was terrible quality. He had to buy another suit, and he had to pay to return the other one. What a waste of time and money. I buy all my clothes at the mall. There are a lot of clothes shops, but only a few of them sell good quality clothes. I buy my clothes in those shops. I pay a lot for them. They last a long time and they look smart. I don't like shopping, so I don't mind spending more money. Then I don't have to go shopping often. I don't shop at the market. The clothes there are poor quality, and the colors are really bright. I think they look cheap. I prefer to look smart. At school, I had to play football and volleyball. I wasn't very good, so for a long time, I never played team sports. But recently, I started playing badminton with a friend. I'm not a great player, but I'm getting better. First, I just played on Wednesdays, but now I play on Saturdays too. It's sociable and fun. I even started jogging because I wanted to be fitter. I don't go far. I just jog around my village for about 20 minutes. I cycle to work now too. I'm happy because now I am getting enough exercise. Last year, I didn't do any.
I have always loved sports. I played volleyball and soccer at school and university, and we were always successful. I always preferred team sports to exercising alone. I liked learning about other people's skills and choosing the best way to play. I never enjoyed running or cycling for miles in the countryside. It's so boring. I only run in the gym. There, I can chat to people. I don't go to the gym now because I just moved to a village, and there isn't one here. There are no sports teams either. I hate not getting any exercise. I play badminton with a colleague once a month, but that's all.
I always enjoyed exercise. Not team games like football or volleyball, but solo sports like running and cycling. I was a great cyclist when I was younger. I won some big international races, but then I had a really bad car accident, and after that, I couldn't use my legs. For a while, I got really lazy. I didn't do anything. But finally, I joined a wheelchair sports club. We played games like badminton and volleyball in our wheelchairs. It was quite fun, but I was never a serious player. But there, I met a girl who races in her wheelchair. I tried that and loved it. I'm training for a race next month. Wish me luck.
I'm really tired. This week was so busy. So tomorrow, I am going to spend all morning in bed. And in the afternoon, I will probably watch television or play video games all afternoon and evening. I will probably do the same thing on Sunday too. My friend invited me to go to the cinema, but I already told him that I don't want to go.
Well, I really need to study. I have to finish a project before next Friday, and I only started it 2 days ago. But my mum wants me to visit her. It's my aunt's birthday, and she will be there too. I don't really want to go, but I have to. She lives about 50 miles from my house. I'm going to drive there after I play basketball on Saturday morning.
My friend Monica called me last week. She lives in Spain, but this weekend she is coming to London. She asked to see me. I really want to, but I have a test on Monday morning, so I need to prepare for it. I'm going to read and do practice tests. Monica wanted to go for a walk with me in the park, but I don't have time to do that. But I have agreed to go to the cinema with her on Saturday night. We'll have fun.
I had a busy week at work. I sat in a desk all day. I really want to get outside and do some exercise. So on Saturday, I plan to go for a long walk. I'll go up the hill to the forest. You can walk for miles there. On the way home, I will probably stop for something to eat and drink at the tennis club. I never play there, but the cakes are delicious.
I work from home, but I took some days off during the week. My cousin was in town, so I wanted to spend time with him. We went to a football match, played tennis, and went to the cinema. It was great. But I didn't do any work at all, and I need to finish an important report. So I'm going to be in front of the computer all weekend.
Last summer, I planned to go to Greece with some friends. I booked everything. Then, 2 days before the holiday, I was driving home from work and I was in a bad car accident. I had to stay in hospital for 10 days. Oh, it was terrible. My friends were having a great time on the beach, and I was lying in bed.
Last summer, I went on 2 holidays, a family holiday to the beach and a walking holiday with my friend Tom. The family holiday wasn't easy. My kids wanted to play while my wife and I were trying to relax. The weather was great, so they wanted to be at the beach all the time. It was so tiring. My walking holiday was so much easier. We walked miles every day, and it rained a lot, but it was peaceful and fun, and Tom was great company.
We went on a family holiday to South Africa last summer. It was expensive, but my children are adults now, so this will probably be our last family holiday. My son wanted to surf, so we spent time at the beach. We swam and relaxed while he surfed. My daughter wanted to enjoy the nightlife, so she went out to bars in the evenings, while we went to quiet restaurants or stayed at the hotel. Then we all went on a safari. It was a great holiday. Everyone did what they liked.
Last summer, I went on a sailing holiday in Greece with friends. The first week was great. We swam, had picnics on quiet beaches, and went fishing, and in the evenings we visited bars. But the second week wasn't so good. Some guys wanted to bring girls to the boat for parties, but my friend Alex and I wanted sleep. We argued a lot. In the end, Alex and I left the boat and stayed at a guest house.
Hi, Lucia. How was your weekend?
It was good, thanks, Marco.
What did you do?
I went to London with my boyfriend.
Oh, did you go to the carnival?
No, we didn't. We went to the theatre in the afternoon.
Oh, really? What did you see?
We saw The Lion King.
Was it good?
Yes, it was great. I love the songs. And in the evening, we had dinner at a restaurant next to the river.
Great! What did you eat?
Fish and chips. It was really good. And then we went on a boat trip, and we danced on the boat.
That's romantic. Did you stay the night in London?
Yes, we stayed at a hotel.
What did you do on Sunday?
We went to the market.
Oh, great! Did you buy anything?
Yes, this lovely red jacket. Do you like it?
Yes, I do. It's really nice. Did you buy those boots there too?
No, I didn't. These were a present from my dad.
When did you come home?
In the afternoon. We had lunch at the market and we went to the station and got the train home after that.
What did you eat?
We had African food. It was really nice. Hot and spicy.
It sounds like a great weekend.
It was.
I'm James. I wear a smart uniform at work. I go to the airport and prepare the plane for the passengers. Then I meet the passengers. I give them drinks and food. I talk to them. I love my job because I can visit different countries.
I'm Anna. I work in a school. There are 35 children in my class, and they are all 7 or 8 years old. They are funny and friendly, but they are often naughty too. Classes finish at 3 o'clock, but I always have time to prepare classes and check the children's work in the evenings.
I work in a big hotel. I prepare foods for the guests. I also have to order food and put it in the correct cupboard, fridge, or freezer. All the food must be safe, and the kitchen must be clean. I like my work because I'm always busy. But one day, I'd like to have my own restaurant. Then I can make new, exciting meals.
I wear a uniform at work, a t-shirt and black trousers. It's not very smart, but it's comfortable. I am on my feet all day in the store. I have to help customers, work at the cash desk, and get sneakers from the room upstairs. And I have to tidy up because there are often balls and clothes on the floor of the store. My work isn't very interesting. I hope to get a different job soon.
I sometimes work in the day and sometimes at night. I work with children here at the hospital. I give them their medicine and check that they are okay. Some of the children are very sick, and that's really sad. I play with the children and talk to their families. It's great when they get well and can go home.
This lovely park is near Leicester Square, the heart of London's West End. This is the entertainment centre of London, and it's also where you can buy tickets for London's theatres. Everywhere you look, there are lots of kiosks and booths selling these tickets. They often sell discounted tickets. These are usually high-priced tickets that people return on the day of the show because they can't go and see it, so you may still pay more than £40 for a good seat. There are 5 big cinemas in Leicester Square, including 2 IMAX cinemas showing films in 3D. It's a good place to see the premiere of big films. The actors often come here for the first screening, and there are always plenty of fans outside. The 39 Steps is a comedy based on a Hitchcock film. There are more than 40 theatres in 1 square kilometre in London's West End. So the main problem is choosing the right show. But don't worry, you'll get lots of offers. Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap has been running for nearly 60 years. Not with the same actors, of course. Cinemas and theatres are cheaper if you go to the matinee at 3 or 4 in the afternoon. The Royal Haymarket is nearly 300 years old. It's London's oldest theatre. Musicals are very popular at the moment. We Will Rock You is a successful show about the group Queen and Freddie Mercury. Priscilla is a very popular musical set in Australia.
My name's Fred. I live in London and I'm 17 years old. I wake up at 7 and I usually get out of bed about 7:30. Then I come downstairs and have breakfast. Usually I have cereal for breakfast with orange juice, but sometimes I have toast with usually jam or honey. Then I pack my bag for school. I walk because my school's it's only in the centre of the town where I live, so it's only 15 minutes walk in the morning, which is good because it means I can sleep later. The school is quite old. It's been a school for about 400 years, and it's got about 1,000 students there in 7 age groups, and it's only boys there. School starts at 8:30, and then we have 2 lessons which go until 10:15. 10:45 we have break for 15 minutes. Then 11 till 12:40 we have 2 more lessons, and then lunchtime. I can go into town to get my lunch, but most people have to stay in the school and eat the school food, and British school food isn't very nice. Then we have 2 more lessons after lunch, and we finish school at 3:30. Usually I come home and I just sort of relax for a bit, and that's usually for maybe an hour. I read or I watch television. And my mum gets home about usually between 5:30 and 6, and so we'll usually eat dinner about 6:30.
This is London, the capital city of England and the United Kingdom. The big wheel you can see is the Millennium Wheel, or London Eye as it's also known. It's 135 metres high with 32 glass capsules. The wheel was opened in March 2000 to mark the end of the 20th century and the beginning of the new millennium. Opposite the Millennium Wheel, you can find Big Ben, the famous clock tower, and the Palace of Westminster, also known as the Houses of Parliament. This is where the government meets. One of the best things about London is its parks. In Regent's Park, you have the largest grass area for sports in central London and an open-air theatre. You can relax, walk and run in the parks, but you can't cycle. Only the police can do that. Horses are another good and ecological way of keeping order in London. This is Trafalgar Square with the National Gallery Art Museum in the background. Nelson's Column is a monument to Admiral Nelson, who died at the Battle of Trafalgar in 1815. You can also visit the British Museum in Great Russell Street, or walk over the new Millennium Bridge to the Tate Modern Museum. When it opened on the 10th of June, the bridge had to be closed after just a few days because it was moving too much. Don't worry, it's okay now. The Tate Modern Museum is a converted old power station. On the other side of the Millennium Bridge is St. Paul's Cathedral. It is a tourist attraction, and you can walk the 530 steps up to the gallery and see London. Another feature of London is the changing of the guard, which takes place inside the grounds of Buckingham Palace every day at 11 a.m. It lasts about 40 minutes, but come early, as there are usually lots of people. You can take a boat along the Thames. This is Tower Bridge. It opens up for big boats, and all the car traffic has to stop for about 15 minutes. You can also walk along the top bridge that joins the two towers. If you keep going east, you arrive in the new Docklands area. There are a lot of big offices and expensive new apartments on the river there. Time certainly flies when you're travelling around London. Taxis in London are a popular icon. They're called cabs. The driver is called a cabbie or cab driver, and they're usually black. When you see a cab, put out your arm to stop the driver. Tell him or her where you want to go and sit and relax. Remember to give the cabbie a small tip when you pay, though. Cycling around London is healthy, but a bit dangerous. Traditional red double-decker buses give you a good view of the city, but they can be a bit slow in the morning or evening traffic. You pay the driver when you get on, or you can use your day or weekly travel card. There's always an underground or tube station nearby in London, and it's the quickest way to get around. The only problem is, it's always full of people. Buy your ticket at the ticket office and then check there are no problems with your line. They're sometimes closed for works or problems. Finding your way around is easy with the underground map. There are 12 lines, and each line has a different colour. The Circle line is yellow, for example, and the District line green. The tube in London's expensive if you don't pay with an Oyster card. For example, children under 16 pay just £1 all day. You have to insert your ticket into the machine or touch the Oyster card on the pad. Make sure you get the right ticket. It can be expensive if not. The escalators save you walking up and down the stairs. In some stations there are lifts, but these get very crowded at busy times. Remember to stand on the right, as people walking down on the left are probably in a hurry and will get annoyed if you don't. As you can see, the platform curves, but the trains are straight. This creates a space that people could fall into, so a recorded voice says, "Mind the gap," over and over. In case you forget, it's also written on the platform. Be careful of the closing doors. You can get a seat if you're lucky, but be prepared to stand up in the morning and evening rush hours. The Tube is very popular among Londoners. Listen for the announcements on the train. They'll tell you the name of the next station and any connections available.
National Gallery and National Portrait Gallery. Mind the gap, please.
The Royal Standard of England is one of the oldest pubs in the UK. Many pubs have a long history, and the very first pub opened over 1,000 years ago in St Albans, north of London. The word pub is short for a public house. In other words, a house open to everybody to meet, drink and chat. Pubs need a license to sell alcoholic drinks. If they serve alcohol to young people under 18, they may lose it and then have to close. This pub, like many others, is full of ornaments and curious objects, some of them a little bit scary. The idea is to create a relaxed place with lots of atmosphere and a special character. Pubs sell wine, soft drinks and, naturally, different types of beer. Red beer is called bitter or ale. Cold, blonde beer is called lager, and the thick, black beer is called stout, but is usually called by its brand name, Guinness. The beer is served in half pints or pints. A pint is a little more than half a litre. The pub is an ideal place to relax and chat. Some people prefer to stand at the bar, but drinks cost exactly the same whether you stand or sit at a table and read. Most pubs have a dining area where you can eat traditional British dishes, such as fish and chips or sausages and mash, but you can also eat continental food, such as lasagna. Prices are reasonable, usually between £5 and £10 for a main course. So it's a good alternative to an expensive restaurant, since there's no service charge either. Nearly all pubs now serve food of some kind. This is fish and chips, the famous British dish made of fresh fish and homemade potatoes. It's a little bit heavy for some people, though. Smoking was prohibited in pubs in July 2007. Now, people have to go outside if they want to smoke. This is called the school run, when parents bring their kids to school. Others arrive by bus or special coach. School normally starts at 9 in the UK, so there's sometimes time for a game of football before the bell rings. As you can see, boys and girls are dressed the same. This is called school uniform, and many schools have some kind of dress code which pupils have to respect. Students either keep their books with them in their school bag or keep them in special lockers. Otherwise, they may get stolen. Teachers and staff need to arrive at school on time too, of course. The head teacher is called the principal.
Very good. Well, I think that's about it. So I think the boys, you could get your prizes because I think the boys will well and truly stump the girls. Right. Okay, well done. Can we pack up our planners? Can you make sure that you do know exactly where you're going today? You need to make sure that you know the timings for breaks. All breaks are normal, and obviously your timings for lunches. Okay?
Next is a cookery lesson.
Today we are going to make kappa maki, kappa sushi, which is a cucumber roll.
Lift them
the map slightly to uncover the roll and remove your finger from inside the roll. Continue to roll.
In Britain, there's a national curriculum. Students all over the country study the same programme for the main subjects. One key subject is IT, or Information Technology. All schools in the UK have computer rooms, and one of the goals is to teach them how to use computers and internet.
Okay, have you uploaded them? No. Okay, right, leave it open for me and I'll come on.
School breaks are very welcome for students. Today is the first day for some, so it's a chance to make new friends. Teachers need to relax as well, and the staff room is a good place to have a chat with colleagues. Cricket is a popular national sport in the UK, although not many people play in Scotland. Basically, you have to hit a hard, red ball with a piece of wood called a bat and then run in the opposite direction to your partner. That way you score points for your team. It can be confusing because all the players play in white, but it's not complicated when you start playing. Unfortunately, in cricket, you have to stop playing when it starts raining. Cricket is played in Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan, Sri Lanka and India. These are all ex-British colonies or territories which have become strong international teams, often beating England too. This is rounders, a game similar to baseball in the United States, often played by girls in schools. It's a bit like cricket. You hit the ball and then run as fast as you can from base to base. Run quickly or you'll be out. Football's always very popular in Britain. Over 5 million people play at some level, usually as amateurs. It's easy. You just need a ball and a few jackets to make the goal, and there are lots of open spaces where to play. Sport and exercise isn't for everybody, of course. Britain's parks are a great place to go jogging, and over 1 million people practice this sport. A lot of people go jogging in their lunch break to keep fit. It's also a great way to get away from the stress of modern office life. There are tennis courts in nearly every UK park, so it's easy to play. Unfortunately, there are very few British champions in this sport, even if Britain holds one of the most important tournaments in world tennis, Wimbledon, in southwest London. The tournament's played in June and is on grass. Rollerblading is less popular in the UK now compared to years ago, but it's still a great way to keep fit. If you go down to the South Bank, near the River Thames, you can see some alternative sports such as skateboarding or BMX stunt riding. Or this, at the nearby Festival Pier. Looks fun, doesn't it? But don't try it at home.
Well, last year I decided to do more exercise, so I started cycling. But I fell off after 1 month and hurt my back. So I'm not going to do that again. But I want to lose weight, so I'm going to stop eating burgers and eat more vegetables. I'm also going to go swimming at the sports center twice a week. My wife swims every day, but I don't want to do that because I want to work in the garden too. That will take a lot of time and keep me fit. I also want to spend more time with my friends. My kids are older now, so they don't need me at home.
I put on weight last year when I had my kids, and I want to lose it. But I don't want to stop eating unhealthy food. I like cakes and chocolate too much, so I'm going to join a gym. It's expensive, but if I pay for it, I will go. There are parent and baby swim classes every morning, and I want to go to all of those. I hope I can meet people there. I don't have many friends now because I quit my job, and I'm with the kids all day. I'd love to take a class at the college, like photography, but I can't now. The kids need me. Maybe I will next year.
I got a new bike for Christmas, and I plan to use it. I want to go 100 miles each week on it.
I also want to join the photography classes at the local college. Then, I can take some great pictures when I'm out on my rides. And I'm going to spend more time with my kids. Last year, I spent a lot of time driving to work, so I didn't see them in the mornings or evenings. But now, I have a new job, and I work from home so I can be here for them. We can do fun things like making cakes and playing in the garden. It will be fun.
I have one brother, Paul, who's 3 years older than me. I'm 18 now, so he's 21. He's an apprentice engineer on ships for the oil and gas industry, so he lives away from home for a month, and then lives home for a month before returning to sea again. He started that just 4 months ago. We get on well, although we have always argued a lot, though not about important things. Just usual kid stuff, like whose turn it is to play video games, and things like that. He's actually always been really kind and helpful when I have a problem, or when friends are mean to me. I miss him a lot when he isn't at home, although I never tell him that. The house is really quiet without him. I realise that I quite enjoy arguing with people, but I don't know anyone else who likes it. My friends think I'm being unkind when I argue, and my dad doesn't like it when I argue with him or Mum. My parents are fine. My dad used to be an engineer on ships too, but now he has taken early retirement. He's building a boat and wants to sail it around the Mediterranean. I admire him for that. He always has big ideas and makes them happen. For example, he built our house completely by himself. Lots of people have big dreams, but they don't actually do anything to get them. But my dad does. My mum is really kind and caring, and has always been interested in me, my brother, and my friends. She hasn't worked for over 20 years now, so she has plenty of time. But I'm hoping to move away from home soon. I don't know what she will do when both Paul and I aren't here. I think she will be quite bored. She isn't very good at finding things to do, like my dad is. Before COVID-19, my plan was to study drama at university next September, but now the theatre industry is in big trouble. So I don't think this is a good idea anymore. Also, it's expensive, and my parents are worried about money. I was looking at courses at the local college, which is cheaper, but the courses there don't interest me much. I'd have to study something like care work or computing. So right now, I'm not sure what to do.
I was working as a flight attendant before COVID-19, but then I lost my job. Fortunately, I found work quite quickly at a local care home for the elderly. The work isn't so different from working on planes. Actually, I'm enjoying it more because I can form relationships with the people I help. I also spend lots less time traveling, so I have more time to exercise and relax. So, I'm going to continue working here and get some care work qualifications from the local college at the same time.
I was in my last year at school when COVID-19 hit. My plan had been to do my exams and go to university to study computer science. But my exams were cancelled, and suddenly I had lots of free time. Then I found a job at a local computer firm. They were really busy and needed help. I found that I didn't need advanced computer skills to work there. Soon, I was busy and earning money, and I love it. I've decided not to go to university now. I'm going to stay working here.
I was working as a computer engineer for a big clothing store before COVID-19. But then the business closed down and I lost my job. To be honest, I enjoyed having free time. I've worked really hard recently and have plenty of money saved. I began to wonder why I was working so hard doing something that I don't really enjoy. So I've decided to go to college and study drama. I've always wanted to do that, but I chose a safer career. but now I think it's time to enjoy life more.
I live in a small town called Farley. It's in the southwest of England. It's near the mouth of a river, about 6 miles from the coast. There aren't any beaches in the town itself, but there are some not far away, about 8 miles. The town was an important fishing port when I was young. My dad worked in the harbour, bringing fish off the boats and selling them to the local shops, restaurants and traders from further away. In my granddad's time, the port was even more important. Back then, coal, food, wood, cloth, and all kinds of things were brought here by sea. That's why there are so many small houses beside the river. They were built about 130 years ago for the port workers and fishermen. Now they are empty for most of the year. They were bought as second homes. The owners stay in them for a few weeks a year and rent them out for the summer. But for the rest of the year, nobody lives there. It's such a shame. This busy, important town is now silent. It's terrible for the local businesses. Our local restaurants only open for a few months and then they close too. Lots of young people have moved away because they can't get jobs. The houses are too expensive and there's nothing for them to do here. It's really sad. I guess there are some positives though. The river is a lot cleaner than it used to be when I was a boy. I remember going fishing with my dad sometimes. The river was really smelly and full of rubbish. Now it's much more pleasant and I catch a lot more fish. And out of season, the beaches are empty. The houses are better maintained now too. The owners keep them nicely painted so that tourists want to stay in them. And there's work for the people who remain here as gardeners, cleaners. I do that sort of work myself, vacuuming and changing the sheets and towels between guests.
What would I do if I was a millionaire? Well, £1 million isn't so much money these days. An average house near London costs about £500,000. But with that money, I could buy a nice big house in the country. I could decorate it nicely, get some nice furniture, and hire a cleaner and a gardener. Then I could get a car, a new one, not a second-hand one, a dog, and some horses. I think that would cost all my money, though, so I would still have to work. But that's okay. I enjoy my job. I wouldn't quit that for all the money in the world.
What I'd do with £1 million? Well, first I would quit my university course in finance. It's really boring. With £1 million, I wouldn't have to worry about studying something sensible and getting a safe job. I'd study something creative, like jewellery making or fashion design. I'd get myself a little studio with lots of really good equipment. I'd hire some nice people to work with, and we'd work if we felt creative, or just relax and chat and drink tea. We wouldn't make much money, but that doesn't matter. I wouldn't spend all the £1 million. I'd save some so that I didn't have to worry about earning more.
If I had £1 million, well, first I'd go on a big trip around the world. There are so many places I'd love to visit. I'd go hiking in the Himalayas, I'd go on safari in Africa, and I'd learn to scuba dive and to sail. I'd have some amazing experiences. Then I'd come back home and I'd buy a classic car and a motorbike and a house somewhere nice. And then, well, I think I'd be bored. I'd probably be lonely all day because all my friends would be working. So I'd probably give the rest of the money to charity and have a normal life.
Paul, it's you. You're back from New York.
Yes, but only for a few weeks. I'm visiting my family.
It's great to see you. How's life in the USA?
Great!
I bet it's cheaper than here in London.
Well, some things are cheaper and some are more expensive.
Really? So how much does an apartment cost?
In the city, the rent for an apartment is higher than in London. I pay $3,000 a month for mine.
Oh, that's a lot more expensive than here in London. And flats in London are expensive.
Of course, rent outside the city is much cheaper.
What about other costs? Food, for example.
Food is more expensive in New York too.
Do you mean at a restaurant or at a supermarket?
Eating at a restaurant costs about the same, but supermarket groceries are more expensive in New York. Healthy food especially. That's a lot more expensive there than here in London.
Wow! Is anything cheaper over there?
Oh yes, transport is a lot cheaper. The price of gasoline is much cheaper than here in the UK.
Oh, do you have a car there?
I nearly bought one. New cars are much cheaper over there, but in the end I decided I didn't need one. Taxis and public transport are much cheaper there too.
That's good. Trains and petrol are so expensive here.
Yes, I know. And my bills, electricity, water, gas, they are far cheaper too. My electricity bills here in London were more than double my bills in the USA.
Oh, lucky.
Of course, I have to pay medical insurance over there.
Oh, yes. We are so lucky here in Britain. We don't have to pay for medical care. Is your medical insurance expensive?
Yes, it is.
So, are you saving lots of money?
Of course not. There's so much to see and do in New York. I love going to bars, restaurants and shows. I spend everything I earn.
Well, when I left school 3 years ago, lots of my friends went to university, but it was too expensive for me to go. I was unhappy because they seemed to be having a great time. I just had a job at a building company in my hometown. It was okay. At least I got paid. I was planning to save up money to go to university. But then I read about the apprenticeship in a magazine at work, and applied for it and got it. It's the best of both worlds, I think. Well, the apprenticeship is for a big construction company, and it's 4 years long. I work in a different department every 4 months, and learn what happens in each one. I'm in my 2nd year now. Last year I worked in planning, safety and administration. Now I'm working in the environmental department. And next I'm going to be working in services. I do 3 days a week in the office or on site doing a normal job. Then for 2 days per week, we have lectures and classes at the company's offices. They take on 12 a year, so at the moment there are, I guess, just under 50 of us altogether, over the 4 different year groups. Then the 12 people in my year are divided equally among the 3 departments. So there are 3 other people currently working in the environmental department with me. The 12 people in my year group meet up together on study days, and we learn the same things. Well, I agreed with the company to work for them for 3 years after I finished the training. But that's okay. I can decide which department I work in. So far, my favourite department to work in has been planning, so I might work in that. There are opportunities to work abroad too. The company does a lot of projects in Indonesia, so I'd like to go there. After those 3 years, I don't know.
I used to work such long hours that I didn't have any time to enjoy life. I was like a robot. Get up, go to work, go back home, sleep. I had no personal life, and I started to feel really miserable. I decided that I wanted to have more free time. So I told my boss that I was going through some personal issues and that I needed to work part-time. She agreed. Now I have time to do everything I want. I don't have as much money, but I'm much, much happier.
Jasmine is 3 weeks old today. I remember a month or so ago thinking that I would go back to work within 2 or 3 months. Now I know that's not going to happen. I just can't imagine leaving her with someone else. I'll miss my colleagues, of course, but work will pay me an allowance for a year, so I've decided to take that.
I worked as a singing teacher for 10 years, and I've had some really good success stories. But I felt that I had gone as far as I could go in that career, and I wanted a change. I didn't just want to do a different job in music. I wanted to do something completely different. That's why I applied to do this engineering course. It's challenging, definitely, but I really love it.
For the last 9 years, I've done the responsible thing. I got a well-paid job close to home so that my wife didn't have to work, and I could be home by 4:30 to spend time with the kids. It's worked, but I really began to hate work. Now the kids are older, so after some discussion, my wife agreed I could get a job I loved, even though I will be home much later and earn less. I started last week. It's great.
My wife and I both had really good jobs, which we really enjoyed. But we rarely saw our kids, and they started to have difficulties at school. We began to think we were being selfish. Together, we were earning far more money than we needed. So we decided that I would give up work and teach the children myself at home. It's not easy, but now we spend a lot more time together, and it's good for all of us.
Well, my best friend was Kevin. We've known each other since we were babies. My mum and his made friends at those classes that women go to when they are pregnant. They both went swimming together before Kevin and I were born. Our mums always hung out when we were babies, and so we did too. At primary school, we were always together. We were both smart, so we could always sit together in class. In our free time, we used to play computer games and watch war movies. We both hated sports. At secondary school, we grew apart, though. He got interested in girls and chose to spend time with them, not me. He started going to the gym too, which never interested me. I joined a board games club and met new friends there, but we were never as close as Kevin and I had been. I've only seen him a couple of times since high school. He moved to Dubai and got married. At university, I made friends with a housemate called Charlie. He's completely different from me. I'm quite quiet, but he is really noisy, chatty, friendly, and crazy. He opened up my world, introducing me to nightclubs, rock concerts, beach holidays. I used to wonder why he liked me. He was so sociable, and I was so serious. But I later found out that his family life had been very difficult as a kid. I was honest and reliable, and his parents were not. After university, Charlie and I got jobs in different cities and saw less of each other. We both had serious relationships, but we both broke up at about the same time. To get over it, the two of us went on holiday together. We had a really good time, and after that, Charlie quit his job and moved to my city. Now we hang out at least once a week. We usually play computer games or go to a bar. He wants me to play racquetball with him, but I'm not interested in that.
I never did very well at school, so when all my friends left for university, I just got a job. Since then, I've realised that a degree is useful, but I can't get into university with my grades. So this year, I'm doing a foundation course at college, full-time. If I pass it, I'll be able to apply for university. Hopefully, they will take me seriously.
I finished my degree in environmental science 2 years ago, and so did hundreds of other people. It's so hard to get a job in this profession. My friends got jobs unconnected to the environment, but I didn't want that. So I'm back at university now, studying water management. With a higher level degree in a specialist subject, I think I'll have more chances.
When I finished school, I didn't think I would be able to afford university. But then I found lots of universities offer distance learning courses, and that idea seemed perfect. Not only are those courses cheaper, but I also don't have to pay for accommodation. I guess it's not the real university experience, but it's good enough.
I'm working for a chemical company as a lab technician, and my manager is keen to train up their employees and keep them, not to keep hiring new staff. So the company is paying for my course. I work 3 days a week and go to university for 2 days. The course takes a year longer to complete than the full-time one, but I'm delighted that I don't have to pay for it and can earn money at the same time as studying.
I used to study at this university a long time ago. I did a postgraduate course here. I only discovered last year that they do informal classes for members of the public. Last term, I did a class on the history of art, just for 3 hours a week on Friday nights. It was lots of fun. Now I'm doing a philosophy course from 6 till 9 every Tuesday.
Good afternoon. I'm Rose Jasper. How do you do?
How do you do? Philip West.
Nice to meet you, Philip. Please, have a seat. So, you are applying for the job of activity leader at our children's summer camps. Do you have any experience of working with children?
Yes, I do. When I was at school, I volunteered with my local soccer club. I assisted at practice sessions, and I was responsible for communicating the dates and times of matches to the children and their families. And I made sure the children were safe.
Great. So, what problems did you have in your role as a volunteer? And how did you deal with these problems?
One of the big problems was motivation. Sometimes children wanted to leave the club, and when one child left, their friends wanted to leave too. I solved this problem in different ways. First, I made sure the children enjoyed the soccer sessions. I encouraged them and praised them for their progress. I told jokes and gave the kids attention. Because of me, some children decided not to quit. I was happy about that.
Well done. Those are very useful skills. Now, at the camp, you will have to work long hours. Do you have experience with that?
Yes, I do. In my summer holidays last year, I worked in a factory as a machine operator. I wanted to earn money, so I did a lot of overtime. It wasn't interesting work, but I didn't mind that.
That's good to know. Now, as an activity leader, it's important to have a good relationship with your coworkers. Do you work well with other people?
Yes, I enjoy working in a team, and I always get on with my coworkers. For example, at the factory, I helped my colleagues when they were busy, and I was always motivated and positive. Plus, I always followed instructions from my boss without complaining, even when the work was hard.
Great. Well, thank you for your time, Philip. I'll be in touch.
Well, I guess my favourite kind of movie is sci-fi. If I'm at home in the evening and I want to watch a film, that's the first kind of film I will look for. I think those films are imaginative and interesting. However, there are some terrible sci-fi films out there, but even the terrible ones are funny sometimes. Rom-coms? No. I don't watch those unless I have to. My girlfriend loves them, and sometimes I watch them if we're having a romantic evening at home. But they are so boring and predictable. The characters are always the same. They are rarely funny. I like horror films, though. They are predictable, I know, but I just enjoy them. I often watch them with friends, and we try to guess what's going to happen, so it's always sociable. It's also interesting to discuss how they did the special effects and horrible makeup. I used to think horror films were scary, but now I don't. I love animated films too, all kinds, from Japanese anime to children's cartoons. I think the Japanese-style films are really beautiful, creative, and imaginative. The stories are strange, but the artwork is beautiful. And some children's cartoons are really funny. I watch them with my little cousin. There is something for everyone, kids and adults. I used to love action films, but I don't think modern action films are as good as the ones in the past. Before, they were big-budget, blockbuster films. They were set in amazing locations and the stunts were incredible. Now, they are often low-budget with lots of computer graphics. They just aren't as exciting. I don't often watch documentaries. I suppose in the evenings, I don't want to learn. I want to relax. And many documentaries are depressing. They tell you about all the things that are bad in the world. It's important information, but those kinds of films aren't very enjoyable. And musicals. I hate them. I can't understand why people are talking and then they start singing. Of course, musicals aren't very popular now, like they were in the past. And that's a good thing. My girlfriend loves them. But luckily, she prefers to watch them with her friends, and they sing along together. I don't have to watch.
Let me see. I've worked here for 4 years now, but for 1 year I commuted into Brighton by train. But after that I got a room in a shared house in Brighton, and I lived there for a year before I got my own flat here 2 years ago. Lots of people like Brighton because it's on the coast, but I grew up by the sea, so that's nothing special for me. There's always plenty going on though, festivals, shows, sports events. I like that. My friends say the nightlife is good too, but I don't go out to bars much, so I wouldn't know. My things are always getting stolen. 2 bikes, a bag, 2 phones. And recently I read about someone who was attacked just after getting off the bus stop outside my flat. It's a shame because most people are really friendly and care about the city. It used to be a really dirty place, but volunteers do a great job cleaning it up. Well, I used to cycle everywhere, but since my last bike was taken 18 months ago, I've used a skateboard instead. I can carry it into shops with me or into the office. If I need to, I can take it on the bus. I don't drive. None of my friends do, because it's so hard to find places to park a car. Well, there are lots of great restaurants in the city, but I think my favourite place to eat out is a little cafe. It is on the edge of town, 3 or 4 miles from the city centre. It's on the beach, on the other side of the harbour. I go there in the mornings before work for a coffee and a bacon roll. It's a great start to the day before I go to the office.
Are you Mrs. Lucille Carrington?
Yes, that's right.
And your husband is, or I should say, was, Mr. James Carrington, who died 2 days ago at your home, 180 Portland Street.
Yes, James was my husband.
Doctors have carefully studied your husband's body. They have found that someone murdered your husband.
No. How?
A knife in his heart. We believe that he was sleeping at the time. He had taken sleeping pills.
I can't believe it.
It's true. So, Mrs. Carrington, where were you on the day of his death, the 5th of June?
I was staying with a friend in Stanhope. It's a village about 50 miles from my home. My friend had been in hospital. I was looking after her. I was there from the 3rd of June until yesterday, when I heard the news.
Your friend's name is?
Joanna Miller.
Joanna Miller. And on the afternoon of the 5th of June, what were you doing?
I went into the city. Joanna was feeling tired and ill. I went to buy her some tea. Here, I have the receipts.
Did you go there alone?
Yes, I did. By car.
And did you also return to your house that afternoon?
No.
Your neighbour, Mrs. Box, disagrees. She says that she saw you enter your house. You were wearing a long brown coat and a hat. She says she heard loud voices in the house. A man and a woman were arguing.
It wasn't me.
Oh? Then who was it?
I don't know, but I believe that my husband had a lover. I think he was seeing another woman.
Who?
I don't know, but I have believed it for some time. I had smelled perfume on his clothes, and once I found a receipt for dinner for 2 people in his coat pocket. But James loved me. I'm sure. Maybe she asked James to leave me, and James refused, so she got angry and killed him.
Or maybe you got angry because he had a lover, and you killed him.
No!
We will find the truth.
So, how long have you worked from home?
About 8 years now. What about you?
Only for a couple of months. Why did you decide to work from home? Was it when you had your son?
No, I was already working from home when my son was born. Actually, I started working from home as a freelance writer because I got an offer to write a geography book. Before that, I was working as a teacher, but it was really tiring. The writing job wasn't well paid, but it seemed interesting, so I decided to quit teaching and do it. After that project, I applied for other jobs, and luckily the work kept coming. What about you?
Oh, I started working from home because the company I work for was losing money. They had to downsize. A few of my colleagues lost their jobs. The company moved to a smaller building. I could only keep my job if I agreed to work from home, so I did.
Do you enjoy it?
Not really. I miss chatting to people, joking around, or deciding at the last minute to go for a drink or dinner after work. Just chatting to colleagues, we found things we had in common. I started playing badminton with one girl and played cards in the evenings with some others. But they've all lost their jobs and moved away now. New people have started work at the company, but I don't get to know them like I did in the past.
Yes, I can see that's a problem.
Is it the same for you?
Not really. As a teacher, I was always too tired or too busy to socialise much with colleagues. Now I'm busy, but not as tired. That means I have enough energy to spend time with people. Of course, I spend time with my family, but I'm also going to an art class at the moment, and I've met a couple of great ladies there, and we often meet up for drinks and chat. Maybe you should do something like that too.
Maybe I should.